Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel, and like I said in my previous video, today we'll be discussing about layers. I'll tell you how the layers work, and I'll tell you how to go about it, and I'll show you all the tools we use in Photoshop, and I'll show you what every one of them does. So in today's video, I want you to just relax. It's not going to be an overwhelming one. At the end of this video, I expect every one of you guys to be able to use all the tools in Photoshop and to use the layer panel efficiently. So without more further ado, let's jump right into today's video.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
And if you are new here, I want you to subscribe to my channel, and I want you to turn on the bell notification so that when I drop a new video, you will get notified about it and you can watch it on time. And if you are not new here on my channel, thank you for always coming back to watch my content. I would like you to share this video to everyone you think might need this. So
Alright, so like I said, we'll discuss about the tools here and we will discuss about the layer panel. So let's get started. You see the first four tools here, they are the selection tools. They are used for selection. The first one is called the move tool, and whenever you see like this small arrow here, it means it has more than one tools in that. Like let's click it now. You see that it has. So if you right click it, you will see the rest of the tools coming up. So under this first one, we have two tools there in which we could use. We have the move tool, we have the artboard tool. The move tool is basically for moving your elements. You want to move it, so that's what move tool basically do. Then the artboard tool is just it's for drawing a new artboard. Like let's say for example now, once you click it, you can use it to draw a new artboard just like that, like when you want to work on a new canvas. So that's that. So the second one is when we right click it, you see other options there. We have the rectangular marquee tool, we have the elliptical marquee tool, we have the single row, then single column. This first one is rectangular marquee tool, and this one is when you have something that you want to select, and maybe you want to maybe the shape is, maybe it's rectangular or it is square in shape. You can actually use this particular tool to select it. Like it does its own selection in rectangular form or square form. So if you want to get a perfect square, you can just hold down the shift key and it will give you a perfect square selection. So moving on, the elliptical works in almost the same way as the rectangular marquee tool, but just in spherical shape. Once again, you want to have a perfect circle, you can just hold down the shift key on your keyboard to get a perfect circle. Then to deselect it, okay, the area inside the dotted lines is the selected area. Then we have the outside area, which are not the selected area. So if you want to deselect, you can always use your Control D to deselect, or you can always come up here under select, then you will see deselect here. So once you deselect, it will disappear. Then this other one, single row marquee tool, when you want to select a row, then the next one, single row single column marquee tool. So just like that. Then the third one, we have lasso tool, we have polygonal lasso tool, then we have magnetic tool. So the first one is just lasso tool is just you have like a freehand selection, like you draw the selection with your hand. Maybe you have one irregular object or one irregular shape you want to select, you can just use your lasso tool to, I'm holding down my left click button on the mouse, so you can just use that to select whatever you want to select. Then the next one, we have the polygonal lasso tool. So this one is almost like the lasso tool, but this one works with angles, with edges. So you can use your edges to select whichever shape or object you want to select. You can actually play with it and check it out yourself. Then magnetic selection tool, this one you just have to move your mouse around without clicking, without holding down any button on your mouse. Just move it around the area you want to select, and it will automatically be selecting whichever way or whichever part you are moving your mouse. So that's about that. And if you want to close up a selection, yes, if you want to close up a selection, all you have to do is just double click your mouse, then it will close up the selection for you. So Control D to deselect, do not forget. Then next one we have object selection tool, we have a quick selection tool, then we have the magic wand tool. Okay, so let me quickly explain this. Let me bring in a picture for me to explain how these three works. So okay, so assume we have this shape here. just I just do all these shapes now, so just to explain how this selection tool. So talking about the object selection tool, simply means if you want to select a particular object and a picture, all you have to do is just to draw over the object. Make sure you are covering the full size of the object. Then once you leave your mouse, Photoshop will automatically dictate an object in whichever selection you just made and make the selection for you. So in this case, you see that it has actually selected this star object, I mean star shape here. There are some cases in which the selection wouldn't be that accurate. You can always manually select them by using one of the tools we've talked about earlier. So that's that about that. Control D to deselect. When we are talking about quick selection tool, you can say it detects edges. What I mean by that is just watch now. I'm trying to select this circle here. So once I click on my mouse and I start moving it around, you can see that with just a single click it dictates the edges around where I clicked it. So if again I want to select this rectangular, I mean square parts of this picture, once I click on it, it will actually detect all the edges. You can see that it is selected around edges. So that's how quick selection tool works. It works with edges. And if you see these three tabs here, you can see the three options here. We have the plus button that makes you want to add to your selection. Then we have the subtract from selection. So maybe Photoshop mistakenly, or you mistakenly added to your selection and you want to subtract from it. Let's say you want to subtract this you only want to select this circular part, you don't want this rectangle part or square part. So all you can do is just come to your subtract from selection here, click it, then you can remove it from there, as you can see. Or you can always use your Alt. If you hold down your Alt key on your keyboard or Option key on your Mac, you can do the same thing, you see, just like that. Let's move on to the next one, which is the magic wand tool. So as the quick selection tool detects edges, the magic wand tool detects color. So let's say you want to select here the color yellow here on the star. So all you have to do is just click on the yellow, the color yellow, and it will automatically select the yellow color. So, and if you want to select the purple color, you can click it. Is this purple or pink? Whichever one. Then the orange color. So same thing with the other one. You can add to your selection here, up here, and you can subtract. Then you can intersect with. So you can play with all these things, and you will actually get it. So let me deselect that. So that's all about the four selection tools. That's how they work. So let's move on to the next one, which is the crop tool. I think, in my opinion, everybody should know what the crop tool does, as we actually use it every day, almost every day, on our phones or other devices that we use. So it's just basically for cropping out pictures. So just like this, you can crop out pictures, you can crop this thing out, crop here out, Then once you're satisfied with your selection or with whatever you have cropped out, you can just come here to accept the changes here. So that's basically how, let me control Z it here. That's basically how crop works. Then so the rest of these theory we will skip them because I cannot show you how they work right now. In later video I'll show you guys. So the next one we have the frame tool, and this also I'll show you later how it works. It works just like a clipping mask, but we have not talked about that. I think in the next video we'll actually talk about it. So I'll show you in the next video. So the next one is the eyedropper tool. So eyedropper tool is basically for sampling of colors. You want to sample your color, maybe this particular yellow, this particular orange, you want to know the color code, or you want to apply this color to another object. Let's just say you want to know the color code, so you can just come here on that particular color you want to sample, click on the color. Then once you click on the color, you will have it here on the foreground color here. So once you click the foreground color, you can always know your color code here. And then again, every single color on this head, has a color code. I think they call it X code, HEX code. So every color, if there is one slight change in the color like this, it will give you another code entirely. So if you want to get color code of a particular color, you can use your eyedropper to do that. Then the rest of these tools, you can always check them out. I really don't use them. So then the next one, this particular tool I use mostly for retouching of pictures. I don't know, maybe I might have mentioned that earlier in my previous videos. And if you have not checked out my previous video, you can check it. You can go to my page, or I will just leave the links to the videos in the description below so that you can check them out after watching this video. They might be really helpful for you to get started. So this particular tool is used for mainly retouching of pictures. So they are mainly used by photographers. So if you are a photographer, I think you should really check these tools out, and you should know how to use every one of them. But in this video I will not cover that. So let's move on. Next one is the brush tool. So I'll show you how brush tool works very quickly. Let's delete this so that you can see our brush, how it works. So once you select your brush tool, you can just see, just like a normal brush, you can just draw with it. And then under the brush tool, we have some settings up here. We have some properties of the brush that we have up here. You can always come here to select the type of a brush. We have so many type of brushes here. You can select whichever one you want. You see, it's different from the first one we used. Then you can actually change the size of the brush, see, or you can use the curly brackets on your keyboard to change the size of your brush. The open curly bracket is just to reduce the size, then the close curly bracket is to increase the size of your brush. Then you can as well adjust the hardness. So let me show you how hardness works. So it's at 100% hardness now. Let's draw something with it. You see, so let's draw something with 0% hardness, and you'll see the difference. Can you see that the first one is thick, and the second one is not really thick like that. It has some kind of blurriness around it. So that's basically how brush works. Then you can set the opacity also. So, and then flow, the smoothness. Just check all these things out really, so let's delete all this. So can use our razor tool. Razor works like brush also. It has almost the same settings as the brush. So this is the razor tool here. You can always come there to delete whatever you have on your canvas. So let's go back here. Then pencil tool, it works almost as the brush tool. I don't really know the difference, but some people prefer working with the brush tool, then some people prefer working with the pencil tool. So if you're an artist, maybe you use Photoshop for drawing or painting, you might really know the real difference between the brush tool and the pencil tool. But for me, I think I most of the time use the brush tool, so just like that. So the rest of these two, you can always check it out yourself. I don't really use them. Then let's move on to the next one, which is the clone stamp tool, which I will show you not today, but another time in another video. So clones, well, basically it's just used for when you're talking about clone, just to copy something, that is the same thing from one point to another. So that's basically it. You can try it out. But I will surely do a video which will cover the clone stamp tool very soon. So let's move on to the next one, which is the history brush, which I've never used in my life and which I do not know how to explain to you guys. You can check it out and play with it yourself. Then I've showed you how the eraser tool works, then background eraser tool, the magic eraser tool. Yeah, all erasers, you can check them out. Then the gradient tool, paint bucket tool, a 3D material tool drop. All this I'll show you in my next video. The next one is the blur, then sharpen, and the smudge tool. Also, if you are doing retouching, if you want to retouch a particular picture, these are your tools. So blur tool is basically if you want to blur out a particular area of your picture or your object. And sharpen tool, you want to sharpen them. So blur and sharpen, they are like words and opposite. Then the smudge tool we just like add like kind of like a freshness to your face. If you are talking about retouching. So then you have the dodge tool, bone tool, sponge tool, which again I've never used and I really don't know what they do. Can check them out. And I'm beginning to think that there are a lot of things I don't know how to use on this Photoshop. Like I said, like I always say, you cannot know everything except the tools you work with every day. Let's just move on. Then we have the pen tool. So on that pen tool, you have the freeform, curvature, add, delete, convert point tool. So talking about pen tool, just for selection, if you want to use it for selection, once you have selected everything, you can close it out. Then you right click, then you go to make selection, then okay, you can actually make it you can actually use it to make a selection just like that, or you can actually draw with it. Once you are done with that, then you come to your stroke part with your brush, then you click OK. Whichever setting that was on your brush will be applied to it and it will form the particular shape you have drew. And then you can also make it to fill parts, so it will actually fill it up. So there are a lot of things you can do or you could do with the pen tool. As you can see, you cannot mention them all. As time goes on, you might actually come across them on my channel. So the more reason for you to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, so that you won't miss any of this video. Then we move on to the next one, which is the text tool. The text tool is pretty straightforward. So that's where you enter your text, so that's that. Then we have the vertical type tool, in which you can type vertically, just like just like that. So that's that. Then there are two ways in which you can enter your text. You have the this is the free freeform text. Then we have the second way, which is the box text. You can actually click and hold down your mouse button and drag until you form a particular region or a constraint for your text. So once you have this, once you start typing, your text will not go through or will not go beyond whichever constraint you have set for it. So those are the two kind of way in which you can actually input your text. Then the next one is the direct the path selection tool, then the direct selection tool. Once again, I don't usually use these options, these tools. So then let's come to our rectangle tool. So just for drawing of rectangle, or if you want to draw a perfect square, you can hold down your shift on your keyboard to draw a perfect square. The next one, ellipse tool. Again, drawing of ellipse, over. Then if you want a perfect square, perfect circle, you can hold down your shift key to get that. Then we have the polygon tool, so you can use it to draw your polygon like this, or hold down your shift to draw a perfect proportional polygon. And then you can change the number of the sides here, number of the edges. So it's presently at 5, so that's why we have a pentagon. And if you want an hexagon, which is 6, you can change it to 6. Then you have to draw another one to give you a 6-sided polygon. Then if you want 9, you can get 9-sided polygon, just like that. And you can as well use this tool to draw a star. So what you can do is that after selecting the polygon tool, star usually has 5 sides, 5 pointed edges, so you can change this to 5. Then under the setting here, you can come here to star ratio and change it to 50%. So I believe once we draw it now, we get a star. So just like that, we have our star. And again, we can always change the number of edges. You can say we want 8-edged star. Can draw our 8-edged star. So it's just like that. Then we have our line tool. So it's basically for drawing lines. Easy peasy. So then the last one here, we have the custom shape tool, which could be used to draw any kind of shape. Whichever shape that is selected here is the shape it will draw for you. So let's say we are selecting a pot here. So once you draw it, it will automatically draw you a pot. So let's select a kettle. Once you draw, it will surely give you a kettle. So just like that. If you are using a new Photoshop, you won't get all these shapes here. You can see that I have very much numbers of them here. But if you are using a new Photoshop, I bet it with you that you would only find like a few shapes in which you can use. But don't have to worry, I have actually compiled resources for you in which you can get all these shapes. I will actually drop the link below in my description, so you can click and can get the shapes for just a token. And this same resource I'm talking about, it can actually help in your workflow and make your creativity a bit better and make you look professional, because these resources have combined we have all kind of pictures in there. You have PNGs, we have if you are always looking for black model to use for your designs, you have like a ton of them there in the resources. You have background pictures, you have patterns, you have shapes, you have fonts. Like, you get a whole lot than the amount in which I'm putting these resources out. So you can just click the link in the description to check these resources I'm talking about. and I assure you, you are getting a lot more than you're going to pay for. Like, you will thank me later for it. So make sure to check it out. It's just 1000 naira only. Let's move on. So the next one is hand tool. The hand tool is basically for panning. It's for moving your canvas all over the place, just like that. Then we have rotate view. You can actually rotate your view. You can rotate your canvas. So then the next one we have our zoom tool. So this one is just for zooming. Everybody should know that. Then this is for zooming in. I want to zoom out. You can hold your alt key. The plus sign here will change to a minus sign, which means you actually want to zoom out. Then once you click, you click, start zooming in or zooming out, zooming in or zooming out. Yes, I think we are done. So triangle, you still have the triangle to here, just for drawing triangle like that. So blah 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 blah. Yes. Then we have the foreground color here, the background color here. You don't really have to disturb yourself about all that. So that's that about all the tools here in Photoshop. Once you know all this to an extent, or once you master it, I bet it with you that you are set up for life. You are set up for life. You can do anything on Photoshop, anything at all. So that's that. So let me quickly run through how the layers panel work, because I promised that I will talk about that in this particular video as well. So we have our layer panel here, and if you can't find your layer panel, you can always come to your windows here and you click layers here. It will actually show up just like this. So the first thing you have to know about layer is that anything at all, any small thing, no matter how small it is, that you put on your canvas, it forms a new layer in Photoshop. So, and it will automatically name it whichever tool you used. Like here, I just drew a rectangle. As you can see, it's named it rectangle 1. If you draw another rectangle, it will create a new layer for it, then name it rectangle 2. Then if you draw an ellipse or a circle, it will name it ellipse 1. If you have another one, ellipse 2. If you have like 100 ellipse, the 100th one, it will name it ellipse 100. So that's basically that's the basic knowledge you should have about layers. And then again, the order in which you place your objects here in the layer panel matters a lot on how it shows on your canvas. Let me show you a quick example of what I mean. So for me to show you, let me change the color of this to yellow, as you can see. All right, so since we have this ellipse on top of rectangle in our layer panel, automatically you should know that once we move this ellipse over the rectangle, it will stay on top of it, just like that. It will cover it. So that's what I mean when I said the order in which you have placed your layers, it has everything to do with how it shows on your canvas. So let's say we move our layer here, our ellipse layer here down under the rectangle layer. So once we move it now, it will go under the rectangle layer we have on our canvas. So they are like, they worked hand in hand together with the layer. So that's about that. So under the layer panel, once you click a particular layer, you still have a whole lot of options here in which you can check out. Yeah, you can check out. Yeah, most of the things we have talked about, but you can just check them out. So if you want to rearrange your layer, you can just click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. Then if you want to create a new layer, you can come to this plus icon here. You see create a new layer to create a new layer for you, an empty layer. So then if you want to delete a layer, you can delete it. Actually, if you want to delete, sure, yes, I want to delete. Then under here, if you want to group a particular layer, okay, let me show you how that works. So let's say we have this ellipse and rectangle here on our canvas, and I want to, like, okay, this is the shape I'm looking for. Like, I already got the shape I'm looking for, something like this, the rectangle on top of the ellipse, and this is the shape I'm looking for. I don't want to tamper with it. I don't want to move the rectangle out of place. I want to make it like this till I finish my project. So what you can do now is just to group them together so that whenever I want to move them, I can move them together just like this. So what you can do is just to group them, and before you can do that, you have to select all the layers you want to group together. And for you to do that, you can just come to the layer panel like this, then click the first one and hold your control on the keyboard, then click the second one. If you have like 40, just make sure you are holding your control, then you click them one after the other. It will select them. So that's how you can select multiple layers. So just make sure you hold down your control button and you start clicking them one by one. So after clicking everything, after selecting the layers, you can come to the folder icon here. Then as you can see, it says create a new group. So once you click it, it will create a new group for you and name it group 1. So let's undo that. I want to show you another thing entirely. If you want to duplicate layer, you have the duplicate, we have a create new layer here, but it can still work as duplicate layer. All you have to do is just click and drag the layer you want to duplicate, then move it on top of here, and you drop it on that plus icon. As you can see, it will duplicate them for you. So it's named this one ellipse 1 copy, then ellipse 2 copy. Once again, if you want to duplicate, you can click and drag and just drop it on the plus icon. It will duplicate them for you. Or you can use the shortcut key, which is the Ctrl J. So once you click Ctrl J, it will duplicate whichever layer you have selected. So, and again, if you want to delete, you can just click here to delete, like I said earlier. And if you want to delete multiple layers, let's say you want to select multiple layers here, you want to delete everything, instead of you using the control like I said earlier, you can just select the first one, then hold your shift key. Remember, it was control key before. You want to select them one by one after the other, but now we want to select from the ellipse 1 copy 3 here to ellipse 1 here. Now we don't have time to be selecting all of them one by one. What you can do is just select the first one, which is up here, then hold your shift key and select the last one. Then it will fill up the rest which are in between and select them all. Then you can click and drag them to the delete button and it will automatically delete them for you. So, and again, if you want to group, the shortcut key for group is Ctrl G and it will group them automatically for you. So once you group them, you can click this drop down here and you get all your shapes or your elements in which you are grouped together. And this high icon here is for visibility. Maybe you are working, maybe your canvas is filled up with a whole lot of things and you just can't see which is which. You can always come here to toggle off and toggle on your elements just to work easier on your canvas. So you can turn it off, then once you need it again, turn it back on, just like that. So under the layer panel here, we have the, okay, let's delete this. Let's delete this. And again, if you want to ungroup a particular group, all you can do is right click, then come to ungroup layers here, and you can ungroup, then it will remove the grouping. So under the layer panel, we have the opacity. Once you reduce the opacity, if you notice on the canvas, you can see that the opacity is changing according to how I'm moving the percentage. So if you have 100, you have your full opacity. Then if you have 0, we have your 0 opacity, just like that. Then we have your fill, which is more or less like opacity, but then it's really not. But I won't explain that today. That will be in another video. So you have the if you want to lock your layer, we have the lock icon here. As you can see, this one is locked because it is our background. So we have your lock layer here. Whichever layer you want to lock, you have to select the layer first, then you lock it. So you can actually move it once it is locked. As you can see, could not use the move tool because the layer is locked. Okay, sir. So if you want to unlock, just come to the padlock icon here and click it, and it will unlock. Now you can move it. So we can as well unlock our background here. So once you click it, it will unlock. So I think that's all about the layer panel. You can always check these options out, like I said earlier. You can check them out one after the other. So okay, I think we still have this. So these are all new things entirely, which I won't cover in this video. And then we have our mask here, our layer mask here, which I also won't cover in this video. And we have our blending options here as well. So you can check these things out, and then very quickly, if you want to change the color on your shape, you can come here, then you see the fill color here. You can change it to yellow, red, blue, black, blah blah blah. Or you can come to the color picker here and select whichever color you want. So the stroke here, the stroke is just the outline. I think I have already said that in one of my videos. So the stroke here, you can adjust the size of the stroke here, just like that. So if you are talking about fill now, okay, fill then stroke. Remember I was talking about opacity and fill the other time. So the real difference between fill and opacity is that once you have a stroke and a fill, as we have in this as we have on this particular circle, so we have a fill, then we have a stroke. So let's see what the opacity does to this shape now. Once we reduce the opacity, you can see that it reduces everything. The layer, the fill and the stroke, it reduces it. But let's see what the fill tool will do. So you can see it's only affecting the fill color. It's not affecting the stroke color at all. So that's the difference between opacity and fill. I thought I was going to tell you in another video, but well, there you have it. So I think that will be all for this tutorial. So please, if you're not subscribed yet, I want you to subscribe. I want you to turn on the notification icon so that when I drop a new video, you'll get notified about it and you can watch it ASAP. Okay, is it ASAP? ASAP. You can watch it ASAP. Alright, so let's jump back to my face.
And yeah, I know most of you guys might be wondering, why is my voice different from when I'm talking to you right now and from when I was doing a screen recording? Well, I think that's a story for another day. Thank you for watching this video till the end, and I want to thank you guys. If you are not subscribed yet, I want you to subscribe, and I want you to turn on the notification icon so that you can get notified when I drop a new video. So guys, thank you, and like I always say, never stop creating. I'll see you guys in my next video.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.